Now we are live. Hi everyone, my name is Albert Tan. You can hear me. You can see our images, our handsome faces. Please type there. We can see you. Okay, so we should start now, gentlemen. Or I'm not sure whether you have any ladies. No issue. So welcome everyone. My name is Albert Tan from Download Silo. Today we have two gentlemen from United Kingdom. They are Thomas and Jack, founders of Genei. Before we actually start, I would like to give you an introduction of these two gentlemen. So let me read out their short bio. So Tom is actually a co-founder of Genei.io, and he met the others, Genei founders at Oxford University in 2019 while studying for a degree in computer science. After graduating with Microsoft Prize, he founded and exited a startup called Halo. I hope it's a right pronunciation. A multi-million dollar or multi-million pound COVID-19 testing platform. Maybe he can tell us more after that. So, but now he has spent most of his time what I call dreaming up all new ways to improve Genei AI technology. So let's welcome Thomas. And now I want to speak about Jack. Jack is also a co-founder of Genei.io. So he co-founded Genei out of university, and along with a third co-founder, Adrian, which is not here, unfortunately. And he built up the majority of the original code and the early infrastructure. So right now he's actually focused his time on operations and sales and growth for the company. So that's a short bio of both of them. And I hope everyone is here to what I call welcome them. So maybe we should ask Tom
hello everyone.
To go on stage
hello.
now.
It's great to be here. Thank you for that.
Please, Tom.
For that intro, Albert. It's very nice of you. And yeah, you pronounced your pronunciations were pretty good. You got it right. So Jack and I we met with our third co-founder Adrian at the University of Oxford about 2 years ago now. We were really interested in natural language processing, in AI, and what we were actually initially like really interested in was technology to help us get through our reading lists. And for I think Adrian put it like, Adrian was like, I just want this AI to write my essay for me. That's what he really wanted. And so we started building this platform for really performing research for academic essays for this like really kind of high quality writing. And as we kind of built out the tool, we kind of realized that we were getting, it was becoming more and more popular with people not necessarily writing academic essays, but producing like really high quality content marketing work. So people that didn't just want their content to rank, but wanted to produce really influential blog posts that help people explain things really well, or produce like some really great research into an area that might get like lots of backlinks itself. So we sort of launched in January of this year, and things have been going really well, and it's really exciting. We've grown to sort of thousands of paying users now. Jack and I we're rather busy, but it's going well. We recently got into an accelerator program in the US called Y Combinator, which has been challenging. They've been pushing us really hard for growth, but it's also been really rewarding, and we've been able to sort of speak with some of the best minds in sort of like SaaS and product marketing as well. So yeah, it's really good to be here. We met Albert through one of the lifetime deal channels that we've been doing recently with SaaS Mantra. And he's, as I'm sure many of you, I don't know how many of you have attended one of his webinars before, but he's a very gracious host and very, very knowledgeable on the subject of content marketing. So he's been fantastic for us to know. I think the plan today is to go through, I think Jack's going to take us through a demo of the project. We want to keep it quite informal. Any questions, please ask away. And let's get to know each other and get to know the product really well. So yeah, over to you, Jack.
Nice. Yeah. So really excited to show this to you guys. I think me personally, like, one of the cooler things about Genei is probably just the fact that like AI tech is getting to this like really exciting point now. We've got tools like GPT-3 and like other models coming out that are actually like really starting to push the boundaries of what we can do with like language processing. And I think our sort of origin story, if you will, means that like we came out of this kind of very visceral like academic environment. It was a lot of like complicated literature that we were kind of digging our teeth into. And I think that what we found is that breaking into the content space, what we've kind of discovered is that there seems to be a real need for like accuracy and quality, especially in like B2B content marketing. Large volume sort of services that focus on like pushing out tons of articles are one thing, but we've found that there certainly seems to be a big interest in tools that can like really give you that proper edge when you're doing content writing and kind of like enhance what you're doing and create articles that like are not only going to rank you highly in terms of SEO, but also that are actually just like interesting to read and that people are going to share because they're organically interesting. So yeah, just on that, without further ado, I'll just kind of go ahead and show you exactly how it works and what we've been working on. So bear with me. Where are we at now? There we go. Cool. All right. So this is Genei. Once you land on Genei, you are hit with this page. These are all of your projects here. And essentially a project is... Sorry?
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
Brilliant. There we go. Cool. So once you land on Genei, you're hit with this. So this is the kind of project page. So everything in Genei is organized into projects here. I've got quite a few. And today I thought I'd just kind of give you a quick demo of one focusing on the sort of billionaire space race that's going on at the moment. So you can kind of just create them by clicking this button here and then enter a title, as I've done here. And then from there, you can basically add any URL resources that you want. In content writing, a kind of a way that I like to kind of enter this process essentially is to start with something like SEMrush and basically just search for some keywords that are of interest to that sort of domain in order to get a sense of like the content that we're gonna find there. So if we look up billionaire space race, we can get a sense of the types of words people are searching for and what sort of words we should include in the piece that we're gonna put together for our post. And off the bat from here, you can kind of just like search these. So if we just take, they're not hugely varied, but if we take this one for instance here, go ahead and just search that. Oh, there we go. Let's go. You can literally go ahead and just grab this URL, go back to Genei and hit this plus button. And then from there, you can just paste it in. And at the moment, we support PDFs as well as web pages. So anything else interesting you have, like if you have any white papers, any like magazine PDFs, or like even academic papers about this type of thing, you can literally just upload them right here. And then we'll just go off to Genei. It will kind of just like chew them up, extract all the content, extract all of the text from it. And then the next thing you can do is basically just open it up. And what you'll see the first time when you open it up is that you get this overview card here. So this overview card is essentially the sort of primary bit of AI output and analysis that we give to our users. So it basically gives you all of the metadata about it. So you got the title, where it came from. You got access to kind of relink to it if you want to remember where you pulled it off the web. Down here, we also offer you a bunch of keywords. So again, these are really useful when you're content writing. I know a lot of people tend to kind of evolve their keywords as they like get to know a subject a bit more, get to know a domain. And so these keywords essentially, they're just kind of featured for every article. We've got a couple more kind of interesting developments. We plan to kind of extend these a bit, maybe offer you the chance to sort of look at them in like an aggregate across all the articles that you have. And the cool thing is, if you just click on them, it'll actually just show you where those keywords appear in the article. So if during the course of this piece I was particularly interested in writing like a section about Blue Origin, Jeff Bezos's company, I could literally just see all the occurrences of Blue Origin, and I can just navigate to them. And so with all of these keywords as well, the other thing that's quite cool is that the sort of, you know, the nice thing about them is they basically just give you this way to kind of like model your article a bit more and just kind of see like where the themes are and like what really appears. And like when you start to compare these across other articles, you really start to get a sense of like what content, you know, what sort of words to use when you're talking about this thing, and like really get inside the topic. So in addition to that, we also give our users an abstract or an extract, sorry. And that essentially is just kind of like a bit of a soundbite from the top of the article. Really good if you just sort of flicking through things and you want to basically just remind yourself what it's about. It's quite nice to just have like a bit of a blurb. And then down here at the bottom, we've got the summary. So if you open up the summary, this essentially is just an AI generated summary of the article. So if you're kind of looking to like skim read, you want to know if it's, you know, worth reading in a bit more detail. Like let's say you've been all over SEMrush, all over the web, you just like added a bunch of stuff, and you want to figure out whether this is something that's going to require a bit more of your attention. You can just kind of skim through this summary. And one of my favorite things about this summary is that actually all of it's sort of hyperlinked. So if you click on these links right here, it'll actually just scroll you to where the content came from, which is super cool because like a lot of summarizers at the moment, they kind of operate a bit like black boxes. So they'll give you an output, but it's really difficult to see what the kind of, you know, where the content actually came from and really like attribute it and get a sense of like, you know, accountability for the AI. And I think that's something that like, we're really focused on at Genei. Like we take great pride in the fact that like all of our AI outputs, they're always able to kind of like relate back to where something came from. So you're never kind of like left with this sort of abstract sense of, you know, chain of reasoning. Like all these summary sentences are literally just directly related back to where they came from. And then the other thing about them too that's quite cool is that like if you find something that's interesting while you're skim reading, that you kind of want to perhaps use as a bit of content in your article, like you find like a nice bit of the summary sentence, you can literally just add it straight from here and it will go right into the notepad just behind. So you can go through all of your articles that you're basing your new piece of content off of, and you can literally just kind of add bits of them straight into the summary. And the idea there is that you've got this ability to kind of just like rapidly assemble a new piece of content. And like these summary sentences are you know, they're fairly abstract. So like you can actually just sort of build these up and they'll, you know, it's a good way to basically generate new content off the back of the stuff that you're looking at. And then in addition to that too, we've also got links. So these links will basically just show you like all of the other content that's mentioned in the article. We're actually adding a feature soon which will allow you to just like directly add these by clicking on them. Right now it's a bit of an Easter egg, but if you click and drag them, actually drop them into the project, so you can basically just kind of keep on going. And that means that like, you know, once you've got a couple of like seed articles, you can really just start to like add more and more in and just build up this huge repository of like super interesting content to base your new piece off of. So once you've been through all the kind of overviews, had a look around a bit, we get onto the notepad. So you can see here, these are the summary sentences that I added before. We support / commands, and the idea there is that like it's really nice because you don't have to take your hand off the keyboard. And that means that, you know, you can basically just focus on your content creation. We support loads of shortcuts too. You can like close all the panels, you can open the overview, everything's kind of wired up to the keyboard. So you can basically just like really get in the zone and you never kind of break flow, if that makes sense, while you're writing. And you can just really crack on with it. And then the other thing you can do as well is like with your articles, you can also add highlights and other kind of annotations to them. So if you find something that's pretty interesting, like, you know, maybe there's a bit of a sort of environmental spin you want to put in it, you might want to include this sentence right here. So you can highlight it and obviously like draw your attention to it if you're going to revisit the article at a later date. But you can also like add your highlights directly to the notepad by clicking this add to notes button. And then from there, you can basically add content directly from the piece. But the other cool thing about this is that it's all linked up to. So wherever you are in your project, you can click on these hyperlinks and it'll actually navigate you back to where it came from. And that means that, like, if you're in the review stage, going back over your article and you want to kind of remind yourself where something came from, you're always able to sort of link back to it. We've got a couple of kind of interesting ideas kicking around. We're thinking about building this out into a more kind of inclusive, like, referencing feature, so that any articles you write, you can basically automatically cite them. We've got loads of really cool ideas that we're sort of thinking about. I think this feature it's been super popular since we released it, and it's definitely a good one to use. In addition to adding them directly from highlights, you can also actually create your own. So if you select some text, you can click add, and you can just, like, attribute any content in your article directly back to something. And the nice thing there is that you can basically, as you're writing, kind of keep track of where everything came from, and speed up your whole process and really just get a sense of of where you are at any point during the journey. So that's Genei. That's kind of roughly where we're at. I think, as I say, most exciting thing I would say about this tool compared with similar ones out there at the moment is this, like, academic link, and also the real, like, focus on quality. We're offering pretty good pricing at the moment, and we've got a lot of new features which we're going to be adding over the next few months. So definitely one to watch or sign up to if you haven't already.
Wicked. Cheers, Jack. Do you want to just talk a little bit about the summary recomputing and how we're, like, retraining our algorithm based off what people are, what our users
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll kind of just whip back to Genei. Yeah, as Tom mentioned, the other thing worth pointing out is that Genei, obviously we're an AI company. One of the cool things about AI is you can retrain it. So at the moment, we put in basically some kind of feedback features for our users. So if you read a summary and you decide that it's not that good, or it doesn't quite capture all the key points, you can give us some feedback on that, and you just hit no right here. And what that'll do is it'll basically add it to a data set. And we've been collecting this for a while. In addition to rating them, you can also go and edit them too. So let's say, I don't know, there's a bit of content that, you go and check out this, and you see that, like, I don't know, there's something missing. You want to add it in. You can basically just hit this edit button, and you can add more content in here. And then you can save it. And the idea is that we're trying to build up a data set that we'll basically be able to use to, like, retrain our AI at some point. So the more and more stuff that our users add in, the more and more ratings we get. We're already getting quite a few. The bigger we can build up this data set, and when we do end up doing a kind of a retraining and a release, we're hoping to basically roll out something pretty new and exciting, and something a bit more kind of custom, purpose-built, that's going to perform really well for the use cases you guys are going to want to use this for.
Yeah, awesome. We've got a couple questions about different models that we use for summarization. So the model we use at the moment isn't GPT-3. There's a specific reason for that, which is I guess there's 3 points to why we don't use it. One, our model is faster than GPT-3. We think it's quite a lot better at the moment than GPT-3 summaries. One of the reasons for that is that OpenAI only let you show the GPT-3 model around, like, 250 characters at once for the summary, which we don't think is enough to, like, give you a really accurate, like, view of the document before you summarize it. So we think our summarization is probably better than GPT-3 at the moment. And then the other is just the cost. If we were to try and summarize massive long academic papers using GPT-3, the cost to the user would just be incredibly high.
Yeah.
But we do have some different models at the moment. Jack, do you want to just show the different models?
Sure. Yeah. I think just building on that answer too, the other thing as well to bear in mind is that GPT-3 is it's pretty powerful, but in terms of, like, summarization, for instance, like the kind of custom focused adapted models that are, like, really really kind of are we sharing? There we go. Yeah, that are really purpose built tend to perform better. which is why we're kind of super enthusiastic about this like retraining and editing setup. In terms of recomputing, you can click right here, and then you can basically choose.
Can't quite see it, but it's still just loading. There we go.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, there we go. You're good.
Give it a sec. Cool. Yeah. So if you click right here, you can actually just hit recompute, and you can choose what kind of summary you want. This is a new model that we released recently called Aladdin, and Aladdin is really abstractive. So the content that it produces is very sort of it's there's a lot of rephrasing that goes on. It's really kind of abstractive, and if you're kind of interested in like generating new content and producing something that you're gonna be able to like post of SEO or whatever, like Aladdin's a pretty good choice. And the quality out of all of our models, it gets the highest rating. And in terms of like the retraining process, that's probably going to be the one that we end up spending more time on. But there you have it, recomputation as well. And then outside of that, you can also pick these other options here, which will give you like a quick overview if you want something a bit shorter, or a detailed focus if you want something that's goes into more detail.
And then I think just following on Casey for your third point about the high level future plans for Genei, I think it's moving more and more towards like the direction that Jack's just spoken about. So just becoming like the greatest writing experience that you could possibly have. So incorporating GPT-3 features like paraphrasing some text for you, improving the text for you, making it more persuasive. Loads of really exciting things like that are coming out in the future. The one I'm really excited about is the idea that I could write a heading that is a question. I could say, who are the individuals going to space? And then our AI would be able to like take that content and answer that question for you using content in the articles you've uploaded, and actually cite that for you. So not just like giving you an answer, but saying like, here's the answer and here's where it's come from in the text, which I think is probably like the future of how we'll actually end up writing articles, I think. Albert, did you want to move to a more Q&A session now, or what did you want to do now?
You can continue any way you like, or you have anything to show for the content marketing.
Nice. Yeah, I see a couple people heading over to SaaS Mantra to grab a Genei subscription. I think the other thing people might be interested in is our affiliates program. I'll just post a link to that as well. So essentially at the moment, we're kind of keen to get the word out a bit more. We're also offering this affiliates deal. So anyone that has a subscription already or is just signing up, that's another one to kind of take a look at, especially with the AI retraining as well. Like more people we get on board, the more data we're going to get, the better we can make this thing. So definitely push it out to your friends as well.
Sorry about that. I lost you back there for a second.
That's right.
Got a question about the Chrome extension. So output from the Chrome extension has less options. Is there a plan to update the extension to have more of the different models, such as the Aladdin model? So my answer for that is it is absolutely. The Chrome extension is really cool. It's something that I use personally quite a lot. Not just for like when I'm writing blog posts, but I use it just for my day-to-day reading to just summarize articles. Jack won't like me saying this, but often when he sends me an article to read, I'll read the summary of it and maybe not even read the article. And so yeah, we're looking to work hard on that at the moment. Our biggest priority at the moment is releasing this Genei Write capability that will let us that will let you guys rephrase, answer questions from text, improve your writing. But I think next biggest priority after that is probably the Chrome extension.
Yeah. A question here about whether the output changes every time you summarize. So yes, it will, especially with Aladdin in particular. Not always guaranteed. Sometimes the text that you put in, the model kind of just decides that is the best summary. But with Aladdin in particular, it will tend to give you a bit of a different flavor every time. So one of the use cases I've seen our users get a lot of value out of actually is that if you're kind of summarizing an article and you want to get a bit of rephrasing going as well, you can also just kind of recompute, and it'll basically express it for you in a different way.
Yeah.
So another question here: could you run a demo via Genei summarizing your benefits page on your site? That would be cool and help re-emphasize the benefits. So yeah, if you want a demo, I'd say the best bet is probably if you just head on over to Chrome right now and grab our Chrome extension. You can summarize web articles for free. If you want to move on to anything a bit more substantial and get into PDFs, there's a paid plan for that. But right now, if you want to see a demo, I would head over to the Chrome store and get the extension. I'll paste the link for that now, actually.
Got a question about different language support. So that's a really interesting one. So right now, our summarizer technology only works on English language. Obviously, you can like type and make notes in whatever language you want. It's something that like as part of this this like future plans for like Genei, right? That like we've been thinking about and like discussing a bit internally is whether it would be useful to have like a as well as like a improve or paraphrase or reword this for me, if it would be useful to have like a translate this for me built in. Maybe if you're interested in that, put it in the chat and say that would be really useful. Yeah, it's something that it's an interesting one. We've had a few discussions internally. I think it'd be quite good, but some of my other colleagues are less convinced. But I think it'd be quite good to be able to translate into some different languages.
So let me ask a question, and also
nice, Casey saying he's used the Chrome extension since last year.
I think a lot of people are wanting to know: would you eventually put up a AI feature using GPT-3 to rewrite or to write the content that you have produced? That's an important question.
Yeah, so I kind of touched on it earlier, but we're really excited and we're working really hard on our GPT-3 offering. We could probably release it now, but the issue is that we want to stay true to what we're about, which is really high quality, like summarization and AI. And so we're not quite ready for that yet. So we want to make sure that when we release it, we're as good as our summarization is basically. And that's sort of like I definitely think we're the best summarization algorithm on the web at the moment. So we want to make sure we're the best GPT-3 writer out there at the moment. So we're looking to release that in a couple of weeks or so. We will be offering a lifetime deal for that, but I can't say too much more about the pricing or what exactly you'll get with that just yet. But don't worry too much.
You are keeping us in suspense.
The idea is that it will have functionality that will let you, once you've summarized and created your notes, will let you improve, expand, summarize, paraphrase, maybe just translate, as I just said, your writing to help you take that next step of the process after you've done your reading.
Nice. I think there was a question there. I'm not sure where it's gone. They seem to be disappearing every so often. About competition and Inksprout versus other tools. I would say that from what we've seen, a lot of the tools that are available right now, there's a large majority that kind of fall into a category that's very focused on like automated writing, which I think is super cool. What we kind of want to really get into essentially is like the quality aspect of it and getting something that like really, gives you a good sense of like well-researched, publishable, accurate content, but also kind of speeds up that process for you. So as I said before, like we're quite focused on that side of it. I think in terms of other competition, there are some cool alternatives out there. I'd say the really nice thing about Genei, by comparison, that I haven't really seen with them is that they're very writing focused. And I think our algorithm, by having these like feedback features, it's something that we really want to work on in the next few months. And so by gathering loads of data, like where the plan is to basically exceed current standard by basically just crowdsourcing a bunch of data and basically being able to like produce something that that isn't really available anywhere else.
Jack, the question is the question doesn't disappear. It's actually in the publish tab, you know.
Oh, okay, got it.
New, answered, or published. I think it's in the publish tab.
Oh, I see. Okay, cool. Another one here about any plans for a future keyword research function. Tom, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, absolutely. So we think what we're planning to release very soon is the ability for you to add the keywords that you want to write about as like targets in your Genei, so you can check, have I hit all the keywords that I wanted to hit. I kind of assumed that SEMrush would be that most people would have their own preferred tools, so SEMrush or Ahrefs or something that they'd use already. So the plan was to be able to just let the users use whatever keyword research tool they wanted, and then just add the results of that keyword research into Genei so that you could find some articles about it or make sure you hit them. But actually, like doing that research inside Genei, I think is a really cool idea, and we could definitely look at that. If you think that'd be useful. Any suggestions, guys? We have we've got a chatbot on our website at genei.io, and like suggestions like this for like integrating into SEMrush or translation into other languages that we've got today. Really useful. So like send them over there if you guys check it out and you've got some suggestions. That would be really cool.
Yeah. Another question here about SaaS apps, competitors, analysis, alternatives. So I think as I said before, the two key things I would say about Genei compared with the competition, I would say that we are kind of the new kids on the block at the moment. But I would say the really exciting part is that background in academia, we really care about accuracy and quality. So if you want to write articles that are actually going to go viral and that people are going to like really enjoy reading, and we're talking, you know, like high quality, new, interesting content, then Genei is the tool for you. And I think the other thing as well to bear in mind is the AI retraining. That's something we're super hot on. And as I said before, we're just looking to gather a bunch of data so that we can give you guys a really cool experience. I'm super excited for when we get around to the training stuff. In the meantime, though, like definitely get the word out. Give Genei a go, get your friends on board. The more editing, the more saving, the more ratings we get on summaries, like the better it is for us, and the more data we have to mess around with.
Yeah, I'd say our closest competitor is probably Phrase at the moment. So firstly, we're about half the price at the moment. Basically just because we are the new kids, we're the new kids on the block, and so we wanted to sort of get the word out there that you know the old not quite as smart crowd are out, and the sort of the AI revolution is kind of beginning. But compared to Phrase, I think the process I've used Phrase a bit, and I think it just works a bit better. So I've used Phrase a fair bit, and they just have issues with like extracting text from documents. You end up not quite getting the headings right. It ends up like you end up like adding content that's like, it will say something like, I'll add some text, and it will say, you know, do you want to enable cookies on this website? And you're like, well, that wasn't part of the website. So I think just like, yeah, like Jack says, this quality is probably the best. And then obviously compared to Phrase, we are half the price as well.
Another point here from Hannah about AppSumo or other lifetime deal selling websites. So we are live right now. Albert has just posted a link here to SaaS Mantra. So if you want to go and pick up a lifetime deal on Genei, just hit that banner on the bottom left, and they'll take you straight through. It is limited in every sense, so it's not going to be about there for long. And I would definitely hop on and grab a copy of that while it lasts. It does have all the features we offer right now, so definitely get involved. It's pretty good for us right now because we're keen to pick up some new users, but it's certainly something we'll be pulling out of. So I would definitely get on there if you haven't already and get yourself a lifetime deal for Genei.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's cool, but we'll as soon as we get this sort of Genei right out and Genei right available, it's not something we're going to be able to offer anymore. So
yeah, couple more questions from Casey Wong. So recurring, so subscribed users, we're kind of up into the thousands now. Definitely, if you guys have other friends as well, though, I'm sure you've got colleagues, contacts who might be interested in this kind of thing, get it out to them. I'll post the link for our affiliates program again. That might be of interest to everyone. And essentially what this allows you to do is basically push Genei out to some of your friends. You'll get a special conversion link, and there are rewards and benefits for every user you manage to convert onto becoming a Genei user. So definitely worth checking out as well, especially if you're using the tool already and you know how it works. Sign up on the affiliates link and get your link going around.
Yeah. In terms of our actual recurring revenue, it's not something we discuss publicly for obvious reasons. Can I batch a few links to Summarise as one? So, Jack, you could probably show how you'd probably go about this on the app with a screen share. You can't summarize them as one, but you can very quickly view the summaries for all of them and add them to the same and like compile your thoughts into the same place. Summarizing in like a multi-document sense and like getting an overview of like 10 documents at once. Again, it is something that we're working on. It's going to be really exciting when it comes out. But right now, I think the summaries are so good at the moment that you can just go through four at once.
Yeah. So in terms of achieving that, like it's Genei's pretty quick at doing it. So if there are kind of like, if you have a couple links that you to like say these, you can literally just drag them in, and you can drag them in from the. So like if you find something on like BBC about like the billionaire space race, when including a project, then you can pretty easily just kind of drop them in, and it will basically just carry on working on them in the background. So any resources you add right here, you can just literally paste and get back to browsing. We've also got the extension, as some of you guys have mentioned. So that's here, and that's quite nice. If you just like open it up, it'll actually just give you a summary of the page that you're on as well, once that loads. And then you can also just add straight to Genei from there. So if I hit that, then it will just go straight to Genei. And I can literally just carry on browsing. If there's something else of interest in the page, like off you go, just browse the web like normal, and the extension will just follow around with you, and you can just keep adding and adding as you go through. So in terms of adding lots of articles at once, from a UI perspective, right now there is one box, but everything gets queued up. So whatever you put in there will eventually get summarized, and you'll get your content pretty quickly. Any other questions?
What plans do you have to gain more recurring paying users? Did you tackle that one, Jack?
No, I don't think I did.
I'd say that SaaS Mantra is actually not the main source of our growth right now. Main source of our growth at the moment is coming from talking to you guys, talking to content marketers, and trying to understand what you guys want and what we can do to help make your work better, higher quality, and faster. And then we get like referrals from that, and those people become our champion users, and they refer their friends, etc. So that's the majority of our growth right now. We also run a few ads that you might have seen on Facebook, etc. So not the main source of our growth. I do like some of these other lifetime deal platforms, but we are exclusive to SaaS Mantra at the moment for our lifetime deal. And so you will have to head to SaaS Mantra for these lifetime deal platforms.
Yeah. Another question here from Eduardo. Are you planning to add tablet support? That is something that Tom was very passionate about. He loves his iPad. I think that's definitely on the roadmap in the future. I think also just in general, like a lot of the nicer reading experiences really at the moment are moving to tablet, and I think that's something that we're definitely keen to add in. I'd be curious.
We can actually use. Genei does work on, like, it works pretty well on the on Safari or Chrome on your tablet at the moment. We made a few changes a couple of months ago that mean that it does that Genei does work pretty well on there. I'm not sure highlighting works right now, but I think you can definitely view your reading, and I'm pretty sure you can take notes as well. Which is cool. It's obviously not perfect, but it is a chance. And I've read a few articles on the tube using that a few times.
Another question from Abdul. Any suggested other SaaS to add to the content creation stack that complements, works well with Genei workflow? Yeah, loads of things. I would say the really good ones to start with, as I kind of did there in the demo, is anything that gives you good keywords to basically seed your content off of. So Ahref is a good one. SEMrush, we like that as well. Those tools are really good for basically getting a sense of what the content's about, and then informing your kind of like decisions about resources basically to add to Genei. Genei, I would say the area that it fits into that flow essentially is when you get into the nitty gritty and the reading, and you want to get down into your content and actually start to like pull your piece together. That's when you want to get Genei out. We are, as Tom mentioned, like hoping to kind of add more and more interesting like writing features for our kind of future iterations as we kind of push more into this like content marketing space. But yeah, I would say that the keyword tools are a pretty good one to go for at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, you could use Genei with Quillbot, or you could use it with like Writer or something like that. I know that Albert uses Writer a bit, but again, like you won't have to do that soon. You'll be able to do it all in the platform, because I think it is quite awkward having to like transfer text back and forth. Good question about long documents. So Irfan says, some papers I have to compile and summarize have more than 80 pages, mostly 200 plus pages. If I split the document into 2 to 3 files, what will the combined summary quality will look like? So, like I say, long documents are really important to us. We don't consider our primary use case to be just web pages. We definitely consider with long documents, PDFs, that they're really important. We've got a limit to, I think, is it 100 pages at the moment, Jack?
Yeah, so that's roughly where we cap it off at the moment, just for kind of performance and quality reasons. Definitely something that we will be extending in the future. I think if anything, summarization makes more sense when you get to these longer documents. So that's something that that we want to do, but we are conscious of quality, so we don't want to over promise here. So right now that's where we've capped it, but breaking down into sections. Sorry.
Yeah. So at the moment, if you split them up, right? You can split them up as Irfan suggests. You can split them up into 2 to 3 files, and then sorry, Jack, I interrupted you, but I think you were going to say about sections, right? So it doesn't matter hugely because we split the document down into our own sections anyway. So what you'll get is 2 to 3 files with, say, 10 sections in each one, and we'll have summarized each section for you in each one. And then just like when you add multiple documents to Genei, multiple like URLs to Genei, that would then that you could then add those to your notes through flicking through them nice and quickly anyway.
Yeah, I think the breakdown by chapters is a pretty good strategy right now, especially as I think it's probably quite a rare use case that you'd actually want the whole book in there for your project, especially if you're doing anything like content creation. definitely going for chapters, I think is a good move. But yeah, that is something longer stuff we do want to support. Question about rights on content after it's been edited or posted using the summary function. Wondering about if many of us get the same content and source tries to apply a DMCA request to take it down. So I got to admit, I'm not a lawyer, but the summaries do vary when you produce them. So we're not, I think obviously be mindful of plagiarism, but to all intents and purposes, I think it's pretty low risk if you're using Genei in the ways we suggest, like creating summaries, adding them to your notes, etc. Like they are seeded, so you will get variants every time. We don't cache and like reserve summaries. That's a bit of a misconception we've had. So papers that you upload, we compute a new summary for every paper or web article that you put into the system. So you're not sharing content with anyone else, if that makes sense, unless you want to. In which case, we do have a sharing feature, which is also worth checking out.
Yeah.
I'll actually post a shared link right now. Actually, you guys can see, get a sense of how that works. Let me just do that. Why not? We'll do a quick demo as well. Let me just screen share.
Eduardo's asked about supporting highlighted documents from other apps. Eduardo, I've just messaged you back asking about which apps in particular. I don't quite understand the question. So if you just reply in the chat, that'd be good.
Cool. So yeah, here's the sharing feature. So if you just kind of hit share and copy to clipboard, you can ping these around, and they will go. Here we go. I'll post one here. So if you guys open that up now, you'll be able to see a kind of view only. So it'll have reduced features in that you won't be able to like edit the notes, obviously, or like make any highlights or anything. But all the summary and the other bits and pieces will be there. And those are the shared content essentially. So that's like one way of doing a bit of collaboration, or like, even if once you wrote something you thought it was interesting, like your analysis on a resource or whatever, like you can basically just push that out, and the shared summaries will host it for you. It's a quick way to kind of like send these resources around to different people.
Cool. Eduardo's got back and said about PDF expert. So I guess like we're thinking about just like different PDF editors and different PDF readers. So you can kind of do it already, which is that if you actually, and the reason I know this is because if you actually export a paper, if you download a paper from Genei that you've added before, we'll actually add in the highlights that you added. And if you then you've got a PDF with highlights. So if you have a PDF with highlights already and you add them back into Genei, those highlights will show up. But they won't, you then have to go through and like highlight them again in Genei. It makes sense. Like all that happens at the moment is it just highlights the background. Genei doesn't actually know that they're highlights right now. I think if we found that like lots of you guys were using like a different tool for reading PDFs, then like that's definitely an integration we could support. I think. Yeah, absolutely. I think I think there's a lot of scope really to integrate with other tools here, and I think it's great to hear that you guys are kind of dropping all these names of different tech stacks you use. I think this is super useful for us to kind of look into that. And as they say, I think with Genei we are quite new, but all these kinds of feature suggestions and stuff, we're still a small team, so we will hear you. And in terms of like the development roadmap over the next few weeks, like we're really keen to kind of like optimize everything down so that you guys can basically have the best content writing experience available on the web at the moment.
Any more questions, guys?
Absolutely.
Now it's the 10:50, so we have another 10 more minutes to go. But before we go, let me tell you that we have one lifetime deal giveaway to be given to one of the audience. So we must do it right in the webinar here. So can we have one or two more questions before we go there?
Question about other file formats, EPUB maybe. Currently not supported. We are planning to expand that as well. DocX is on the roadmap, I believe. If there are other formats though, those are definitely open to those.
I think there's quite a lot of EPUB to PDF converters as well online.
Yeah.
That are just like completely free. You just put in your EPUB and it will convert it for you.
Yeah, I think it's a great workaround for now.
We actually also just partnered with a publisher called Humanities eBooks. They're again quite a forward-thinking, quite a new publishing platform. They're looking at doing a lot of blockchain publishing, and they've given access to their entire library of EPUBs so that we can like train our algorithms and do some really exciting AI on their data sets. And so as part of that, we'll be looking at EPUB as well.
Question here about any chance for Rephraser, like Quillbot or Hemingway? Tom, do you want to talk a bit about our plans for that?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, it's a really popular thing that keeps coming up, and it is the #1 priority for us right now is getting out this Genei Write capability, so that you can rephrase, improve text, paraphrase text, translate it into other languages. It's the #1 priority for us right now, and we absolutely are working really hard on it, because I know it's a bit of a pain to use Genei at the moment with other tools like that, and so just like working that in and streamlining it, I think is really exciting.
Okay, guys, I think we have another 10 more minutes. So before we say goodbye, we should do some summary, and also we should do the lucky draw for the winner. So if you have any other question, please feel free to ask in the Facebook group, or maybe email to support@Genei. So both these gentlemen will gladly to answer all your questions. So I believe today we have quite an interactive session. Supposed to be a more demo than question and answer, but it turned out the other way around. We have more question and answer than demo. So I believe that is also good, because a lot of you, I believe, have tried this software, and it can be seen from your question and answer that you really know what to ask. Okay, let's go to the lucky draw. I will draw from the audience, so I will choose one winner. So I already in the screen. Can you see the screen? I'm not too sure, because but I just spin, and one winner will be chosen from the live audience. So I will do it now. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the winner is Sebastian Bird. Congratulations. Did you see? Can you see the no?
I don't think we can see your screen, but if you want to,
I can see the screen. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. I actually draw that. His name is Sebastian Bird. So let me have it.
Sebastian Berg here. Yeah, I can see him in the chat.
So congratulations. Sorry, I didn't know that you can't see the draw. No, only I can see the draw, unfortunately. But this lucky draw is actually done automatically by this big marker platform. So that's
cool.
it.
Nice,
So,
bit of product placement there.
Okay, so Sebastian, please send me an email. Then we will send you the code or whatever after we discuss with the Genei team. So with that, I will hope that everybody is actually have gained something, from the question and answer and the demo from these two gentlemen. And hopefully, if you are going to buy this or you already bought, so much better. I will just do some advertisement here again. You can buy through the link.
I think before we wrap things up as well, I'm just going to post my email in the chat. So if anybody out there,
no problem,
has any other questions, queries, you're interested in our affiliate program, you're just a fan and you want to say hi, literally reach out. That's my email, Jack@Genei. Happy to hear from you guys.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much, everyone, for all your questions. It's really good to hear from you, and also really good to hear from some existing users in the chat as well. So really nice to hear from you guys. Get in touch if you, and we really value your feedback and your suggestions.
Okay, so I hope everybody is happy with this today's session, and I would like to thank Jack and Thomas for attending in live with my audience, Download Silo. And for your information, I think we have close to 30 attendees today. So thank you guys. Hopefully you will gain from this Genei writer. And I personally believe that these two gentlemen, together with the other founder, will make this app, I would say, the best summarization app. And from what I have gathered with my conversation with them, they actually have a lot of new additions or new improvement to be done inside the Genei. And GPT-3 rewriting AI feature writing is coming soon. And of course, the price is not decided yet. So stay tuned. And I hope that, you guys will support them by buying this Genei, what they call Genei.io. I'm not too sure this Sampath have any plan to end the promotion soon, but I guess it will run for another month or so. Or Thomas, do you know the end date?
I think we're ending it. I would have to talk to Alex because Alex is in contact with Sampath, but I think we're less than a month to go now. Actually,
Imminently. I think if you want to guarantee your place, I would click that link right now and
right
get yourself a lifetime deal.
Okay, so that's all I have today. Thank you guys, and thank you all the audience who came from all over the world. And good night or good day or good evening, everybody. Bye bye.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
I will end the broadcasting now.
Cool.